Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the Rivian R1S. Now I wanted to do a Rivian review because Rivians on the used market have taken a huge value hit over the last year, and so I think it's an interesting conversation. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Carl Malone Ford here in Park City, Utah for giving me some time with this R1S. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So when it comes to the EV specs, we have a quad electric motor setup paired to a 135 kilowatt hour battery pack. Now this provides the R1S with well over 300 miles of electric driving range, and then power outputs are about 835 horsepower and then 908 pound-feet of torque. Now before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So here's a quick look at the key fob. It looks like a carabiner, which I think is so cool. And I'll press the front trunk opening here on the key fob. You can also open the rear, and it actually worked. Now you guys can see the storage space here in the front trunk area. It's actually pretty dang large, so it adds to the practicality. And then when it comes to front-end design, it obviously has Rivian's signature light bar design there. You guys can see the recovery points on the front. We got fog lights as well. And you know what? I like the boxy design. It has that cool kind of like Range Rover type look. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275, 65, 20 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see we've got the yellow Rivian brake calipers and massive brakes, by the way. Needs lots of stopping power for this. But anyways, look at the fender flares and the bodywork all along the side. Of course, got a Rivian badge there. And speaking of side, again, the side profile with this is really cool. It has that boxy off-road SUV appearance. Now, popping into the rear, this has the cool split gate design. It's got a little tailgate there, which I forgot you have to pull it down yourself. But anyways, you can see pretty good storage space behind the third row. Notice we can also lower down these seats if we want even more storage space, which adds to the practicality. And I'm pretty sure that you've got to put this up manually and then you can just close this, but I don't think it closes together if I remember right. Really cool light bar design here in the rear. Again, Rivian badge and then R1S down below. Parking sensors there at the bottom too. But yeah, look at that. Now taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see two-tone with the coloration, then look even more stitching and everything down below. And then I like this with the wood trim. And yeah, the fit and finish overall, I mean, it looks really good. Now taking a look at these seats, you guys can see here with the Rivian logo and perforated all down the center. And I've never seen this white interior before, but it pops. Legroom here in the back is actually really good. We have a little storage thing right here, and then you guys can see the USB up top. And then notice we have heated seats here in the back. We have our own climate zone here in the back as well. And when it comes to room, it's actually really good. And I like this with the grab handles, nice texture, and the same thing with the headliner. And then I'm not going to pop in the third row. I have been in the third row of the R1S. You do get a sunroof back there, which is nice. Headroom's good. It's just legroom's cramped like most SUVs that are about this size. And now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see again with the two-tone design and then the wood trim. We've got all of our window controls here. Look at the handle, that's pretty cool looking. One of the speakers for the sound system, and then you guys can see blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat, again Rivian, and then you can see perforated all down the center. Power adjustments on the side. Look at the pedals, pretty fancy looking. And then again with the trim, it looks nice. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, it continues that two-tone theme, so you guys can see lighter here on the airbag cover, and then notice darker with the rest of the steering wheel. It does have the multi-function controls just like a Tesla, so you change what those control in the infotainment system. And then also like a Tesla, it has a column shifter. But unlike a lot of Teslas, it actually has a gauge cluster here in the center. You guys can see here, it shows us our range, percent charge, all of that. And I mean, it's pretty simplistic with the design, but it works. Now this does have a 360 camera system. Resolution with it's pretty decent. Not the best camera system on the planet. I think that's something they could definitely work on. And then as for the infotainment system itself, first off, you have like the climate controls here at the bottom, which I think that makes this a little bit more user-friendly because you can just pull this up at any time. And we have heated and ventilated seats up front. And then you have the shortcut bar here, also pretty easy to use. So I'd say they did a pretty good job with the infotainment system. It's all pretty self-explanatory, so like you can open up the hood, the charging port, lift gate, all from the infotainment system, and then you have the drive mode select, where you can go through everything with all the on-road and off-road drive modes. You can also adjust the suspension ride heights. Right now we're at the lowest. We can pop it up to standard, for example, to make things go up a little bit. But yeah, again, I think this is easy to use. I just think they should probably improve the camera system is all. Kind of showed this earlier, but Love the overall dash design. And you guys can see the vents down below. And then we have a bunch of storage space here, which is good because we don't actually have a glove box in the R1S. I don't understand why, but just not a thing. But what we do have is little speakers that you can pull out, and then you guys can see with the storage here up top and also within the center console as well. And this is the original window sticker, which is kind of crumbled up a little bit. I guess we'll look at that towards the end. And then last but not least, again, nice headliner all over, and then you got the glass roof as well. Okay, so this one's a launch edition, so it came fully loaded as standard. This is the total original MSRP on this one. As you can see, $78,800. But the pricing on these has definitely gone up. Also, it says this only has 289 miles of range. I guess this one has the smaller battery pack, and I was mistaken on that. So sorry about that. Anyways, let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, do a blast morning, and throw the rest to the rear, and R1S away. So this is probably going to be a slightly controversial video, actually all-purpose mode. Let's do that. The reason why I say that is, it seems like whenever I make videos talking about my opinion on Rivian, people just always get super upset, but you have to remember, it's my opinion. You can agree with it or disagree with it. But yeah, and this, by the way, I also want to talk about the R1T in this as well, the truck version of this, because I feel like the R1T has been hit harder than the R1S, which is surprising to me, because I think the R1T is a better vehicle. But first off, let's see what 835 horsepower feels like. It's crazy how fast this accelerates with how much this weighs, and in fact, it's like an off-road boxy SUV. It's just cool. We'll get another acceleration a little bit later. But, you know, the R1S, it's not bad, but this isn't a comfortable, as comfortable as you'd think it would be. Like, for example, I'm at the Ford dealership. The Ford Raptor, whether it's a Bronco or a truck, is like the best riding vehicle on the planet. And it's an off-roader just like this. And so I don't understand why, like, Ford that doesn't build luxury cars can figure it out, but this, I don't know. But it's weird because the R1T rides really well. And it seems like the tuning with this is not great. I will say, it seems like they've improved it a little bit since the last time I drove an R1S. So I don't know if they did like a over-the-air update. So it seems a little bit better, but still, it definitely could use some work with that. Aside from that, I love the interior. I like the material use. I like the feel of the interior. I think they've done a good job, except for the fact that it doesn't have a glove box. I think that's the only thing that's kind of silly. I will say the four-wheel steering helps out a bit, but oh, goodness gracious, this thing moves. Wow, this thing moves. That is an acceleration. Again, it's crazy because it's a boxy SUV. You just don't expect it to be as fast as it is. So I guess we'll get into the controversial stuff. So first off, I guess the R1S doesn't ride as good as the R1T. It's disappointing. I think Rivian should fix that. The resale value on these has definitely taken a hit over the last year. So when I reviewed an R1T when they first came out, on the used market, obviously the new ones, right, they go for MSRP. And so if you're able to get like a new one locked in at the crazy $70,000 price, then, well, you probably made money. But the used ones were going for like $120,000, $130,000, and now used R1Ts are going for like 70 grand. So they still are going for close to original MSRP, but that's a $50,000 hit. So like if you bought a used one last year, you are upside down. And then these R1Ss, they were going for like $120,000, $130,000, and now they're going for like 90-ish. So not as big of a hit as the R1T, but still a pretty big hit. Value-wise. Now again, people are gonna be like, Ben, it's original MSRP, and it's like, yeah, fair enough, but at the same time, that's just a huge swing on the used market. And the new ones are more expensive now. The new ones are like over $100,000 for like a similar build to this. So it'll just be interesting to see kind of what happens with these long term. But it seems like people still like them a lot, but it seems like a lot of the hype has also died because the price has gone up and all that kind of stuff. Also, someone took my parking space. Dang it. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the R1S and the R1T, and let me know if you think Rivian's still worth it. I think the values on the used ones have come down enough that they could be a good buy potentially, but the new ones have gotten so dang expensive now with those price increases. But let me know your thoughts.